Welcome to Crafty Hints. I'm Chantel. I'm so happy to have you here today. Let's get to some bunny DIYs. DIY 1. I started out with these 3 scrap pieces of wood, and I used some Waverly chalk paint in plaster and just gave those a coat all over. Then I went to this burlap ribbon and I'm just cutting an ear shape. So I'm curving the top and cutting some of the sides off. I left it down at the bottom in case I needed a little bit of support for bending it. Most of them I ended up cutting that off, so there's no need to save that. In fact, if you like to fray the edges for a little more shabby look, you could do that too. I came in with some Waverly Ballet slipper chalk paint. It's just a pretty soft paint, and I do love the chalk paints because it allows you to usually use one coat. You could definitely use acrylic paint. Okay, I used one of my Valentine heart stickers, and the adhesive is so strong on them, and I thought the color would be really cute for a bunny nose. So I cut a couple of ovals. They're about the same size, and then for the smaller one, I cut a little bit smaller nose. Now, if you want to make it a little bit of a heart shape or whatever shape you want for the nose, feel free. I thought an oval would work well. So just continue trimming that down just a bit. Perfect. Now I took some floral wire and I just cut 3 pieces and kind of bent them in the middle. You could paint the floral wire if you'd like. I left it just the normal floral wire and put a dab of glue in the center to bind them together. And with it being such thin wire, it did adhere the 3 together. So I kind of shaped this around and see if that was how I wanted it, and it was perfect. I'll show you how to make the eyes in just a second. I wasn't as happy with the first set, so I'll show you the second set I made. Now I'm just going to take the adhesive off of the back of the sticker, and like I said, they are super sticky, so this worked just fine to cover up the middle of those wires and make a cute little nose. Now I'm taking 2 little strips of hot glue and folding that together to make the ear shape. Then I just took a craft stick and squished that down, and then I folded out what was left after it was bound together to adhere it. It made it easier to grab onto the wood, right like this. Just folded that out and a little bit of glue, and I was able to just stick it to the back. Kind of want to play around with it. Do you want them straight up? Do you want them pointing out? You could flop an ear over to the side. Make these your fun little bunnies. Okay, so I'm just using a permanent marker, a Sharpie, whatever you have. A paint pen would work well. As you can see, I touched up those other eyes there, made them just a little rounder. I like a long oval for my eyes. If you just want a little circle, again, these are your bunnies to make special for you. Okay, here's the one, and I just used the back of a pen to kind of mush down that glue a little bit before I put the next nose on there. And I did this for all 3. And even though the wires are glued down, you can continue to move them around. They were just fine. I took this burlap ribbon with a little bit of lace on it to make a bow for like a mama bunny. I thought these would be cute. They can kind of stick around for spring. They don't necessarily have to just be Easter. And there they are. And again, I think I'm going to want to play with those whiskers just a little bit. Looks like they got a little wonky when I was carrying them down, but they'll move just fine. So fun. All right, let's get to DIY 2. So I thought I'd make a cloche. I started out with some of this Spanish moss. So this is the browner moss. And I took a candle glass plate holder that I got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put this around the edge. So a little bit of hot glue. And that should hold it. And I'm just, again, going around the edge. I'm not doing the whole thing. And this candle holder has a little bit of a divot in the center to hold that candle. And I'm going to use that to my advantage. All right, just about have all of that moss in place. And I like to cut my moss inside the bag because if you've worked with moss at all, it's a little bit messy. Now, this is floral moss, and sometimes you can also find the reindeer moss, which is a little brighter green. But I went with the floral moss here, and I'm covering just, it's just a little bigger than a 3-inch circle. I get a pack of like 6 for $2 at Walmart. After I glued that moss all on, I'm just trimming it down so I have a nice circle. This will fit right inside that little divot in the center. So continue to trim that down until it looks nice and tidy. I love this little ladybug vacuum. It reminds me of my daughter. I think I've told you that before, but I found it on Amazon. I'll link that below if you're interested in one. It's really handy when you're crafting. Okay, I took this little fishbowl globe that I found in the floral section and a knob that I think I got them at Walmart or maybe it was Goodwill for a pack of them. Glued that in the center. And this will make my own little cloche. Now, I didn't glue this down because I thought I can change this up a little bit if I want to for different holidays. So I just pressed it in place and it worked really well. At the Target dollar spot, they have a 2-pack of these bunnies for $3. So I found the one that fit in there. So cute. Isn't that sweet? If you want to put a couple little eggs in there, you could. I just thought this was so sweet. Again, let me know what you think. I always love to hear your feedback and respond to every comment. If you're enjoying these, please go ahead and subscribe and like and comment. And if you really love it, share with a friend that might enjoy it too. You can find me on Instagram and Pinterest as well. Let's get to DIY 3. I took this sign from the Dollar Tree and I'm just heating up this glue to take this off. With the glitter and the paper on here, I wasn't going to be able to use this front as well as I'd like. So I went ahead and just took that all off of that side and flipped the sign over. And I went ahead and put some clear contact paper and printed out this bunny, which I'll include down below. Then you can also print it. And I started off thinking I was going to put it from behind because I could see it. But it was easy enough to go ahead and just put it on the front. I think it was easier to trim around. So here I flipped my camera around so it's a little bit easier for you to see. And just trimmed nice and close. That contact paper is from the Dollar Tree. I sometimes have used that for Cricut transfer tape as well. Here's where I decided, wait a minute, let me just put this to the front. It's going to be easier. The reason I put it on the back was after I cut this, the contact paper started to just lift from its backing, but I got it straightened out enough that I went ahead and was able to put this on the front and just continue to trim around it. And this is going to be a reverse stencil. If you've watched my videos in the past, I like to use the stencil vinyl and do reverse stencils. So this is a way you can do it if you don't have a Cricut. Now, I don't want this to stick permanently, so I started out putting my hands all over it, and then I thought, gosh, maybe I should fuzz it just a little bit, so I used my sleeve. Now this is on the back of that sign. And I'll just center that on there. And now I want to make sure every edge is pressed down. And I'm going to use this Waverly chalk paint in Pool. And I'm going from kind of the decal in a little bit and out. You don't want to go against it, as it might get underneath that contact paper. So I continue to go, from the center out and continue that. I didn't want full coverage. I wanted a little bit of a distressed look, and you could even go back in with some sandpaper if you wanted for a little bit more distressing. But I just left a little bit of the brown shining through. And then I went along the edge and kind of pounced it like you do normal stencils, just making sure I had a nice crisp edge. Then just continue painting it as you'd like, being careful not to go against the edge of that. Now I'm just using this chunky brush and doing a light distress with plaster chalk paint. It's just as much or as little as you'd like. Maybe go in with a little bit of hazelnut chalk paint. That would be cute with this too. But this is yours. If you want it perfect, get a nice even coating over it. That would be adorable as well. So just a little bit of that, and then I'm going to let it dry. Once it's just about dry, you want to grab onto that decal and just lift it up. I like these tools from the Dollar Tree. They come 2 to a pack. Look at that edge, no bleeds. Oh, it's adorable. I love it. So now I'm just going to adhere these back on. Just get those spaced out and back on. And now you have a nice framed out piece of art. So this is a good one to pick up at the Dollar Tree if you see them. Just continue getting those in place to frame this out. As I was looking at it, I thought, oh, he could use a little bunny tail. So I used a little pom-pom, but I wasn't sure that I loved it. So I used some double-sided tape instead of hot glue. That way, if I want to take it off, I can, but it held well enough that it would stay. What do you think? Would you put a tail on it? Or do you like it without? Let me know. Okay, we're just about done here. We're going to do one more DIY, but I hope you're loving these as much as I did making them. Number 4. Yep, I'm back with my clothespins. So I had one more idea. If you've seen my other Easter videos, you saw me make some carrots. I'll link that one further along in this video if you'd like it. So I took the spring off and then I just glued them back together just the way they were before. And yep, just making sure I line them up nice and even. Now I'm going in with some plaster chalk paint, and you just want to get in every little crevice of these. And I won't make you sit and watch me paint because I'm guessing you can do it. Okay, I'm going on some of these little wooden beads. I got a bunch off Amazon. If you're interested in those, I'll link them below as well. But I use that ballet slipper again. I'm making some little bunny ears. Oh yeah, are these not going to be adorable? These are going to go on my tiered tray along with some of the other items that I had made in a previous video. Now I went in with a gel pen because I couldn't find my Sharpie, and this worked just fine. I couldn't find my fine point black Sharpie. I did find my gray, and as you can see, that bead will be the nose. So I went in with the gray to make the whiskers. I do actually go in with the gel pen as well and make some of the other whiskers black. Definitely up to you. All right, just a dab of glue here for the little nose. Is he not so cute? Oh, I think they're just kind of funny and cute all at the same time. Crafting has to be fun, doesn't it? Okay, let's get him some little feet here too. Oh, let me fix this whisker. Not quite right. There we go. I like that better. So 3 little lines I'll make for his feet. Super simple. The kids could do these. Wouldn't this be fun to do with the kids? You know, some Saturday, Sunday afternoon, after school, whatever. But yeah, make them their own. Not a super messy craft. Okay, now I thought they all could use a bow. So I wanted to match some of those eggs that were in my basket that I made with this yarn before. So I'm just going in with some different colors that will match. And it gives each of them their own little personality. So it's just a shoelace bow, nothing super fancy. But now I'm taking my carrot that I made in a previous video, and I'll link it right here for you. It's made with clothespins as well. Mini clothespins, but clothespins nonetheless. Oh, how cute is he or they? So super sweet. I do hope again that you've loved this, and I want to know which is your favorite or which one might you make. I can't wait to read your comments, and I appreciate each and every one of you and feel blessed to have you as friends and family of my channel. Here's a couple other videos that you might enjoy. Have a wonderful day, and thanks again for visiting.